There are many reasons why everyone must care about plastic pollution. Firstly, everyone is exposed to toxic chemical additives and microplastics either through ingestion, inhalation, or direct skin contact. Research has shown that this can result in serious human health problems such as hormone-related cancers, infertility, and neurodevelopment disorders like autism. Secondly, plastic pollution is a significant threat to biodiversity. It threatens ecosystems, animal and plant species. For instance, we know that when cattle consume plastic, it blocks their digestive system, resulting in death. Thirdly, plastic pollution contributes to climate change because 99% of plastic is made from fossil fuel. We know that oil extraction results in greenhouse gas emissions. Notwithstanding these environmental and health effects of plastic, the world plastic production is increasing rapidly.
From the last survey that was done in Zimbabwe, and it was compiled in the form of the Integrated Solid Waste Management Plan, it was realized that Zimbabwe generates about 1.6 million tons a year. And from these tonnage that we generate every year, only 18% is plastic, all form of plastic. And if we are to look at 18% from a layman point of view, is quite minimal. It's quite minimal. But if you are to do your calculations right, that takes us to about 300 tons of plastic. And plastic by its nature is quite light. And for us to get about 300 tons, it means we have a large space covered. So 300 tons, despite the fact that it's smaller in figures, but in space volume coverage is quite huge. So as we look at this roadmap towards probably the ultimate ban to single-use plastics, we are taking everybody on board. And what has been happening at the moment is that we are looking at having it done in phases, having a phased out approach such that we don't bring about this shock to the public, this shock to the nation, especially considering the industrialists. Some of the views that we have gathered, especially coming from industries, that there is need probably for recapitalization of industry so that they are able to actually move away from the single-use packaging. We are actually ready for any eventuality, especially that of major concern is the protection of the environment. We need to ensure that in as much as we want industry to survive, economy to survive, we also need to consider the integrity of the environment because in the long run, we are saying environmental integrity also ensures that the public is actually also safe, is also healthy.
Obviously, we are still grappling with stockpiles of the old packaging because, like I indicated, the value chain, including our manufacturers, had imported machines that are making the current packaging in its state, and the transition certainly is going to involve a lot of costs, not only for the retailer or the wholesale, but actually the value chain. We will also look at the costs associated, include the structure of our economy. You may have seen that a lot of the measures, once they are applied on the market, they tend to affect only 20 or to 30% of the economy.
Inobatsira vanhu vakawanda plastic mukurarama, kumabasa chaiko chaiko riri kubatsirawo. Hapana munhu asina arisi kushayisa vanhu basa, riri kutowanisa vanhu basa. kana rakazonzi rabhanwa tinenge tarasikirwa takawanda kwete isusu tega kana vemakampani chaivo vanenge varasikirwa.
And of course, the cost of educating the consumers, in other jurisdictions, consumers are actually now resorting to reusable, carrier bags. And we are also looking at that. But of course, in our jurisdiction, we saw such packaging is at the present moment quite expensive. When we did a survey, a lot of it was going for between $1 and $3. Yes, someone will reuse it, but just to part away with $1 or $2 or $3, I think in the current with the current income levels is something that actually may be very difficult. So the cost will also be associated with our consumers as well as ourselves as a sector.
Nindoita zvokunhonga maplastiki nekutinotenga futi maplastiki. Saka kana tanhonga tinotengesa zviri kutibatsirawo kuti tiwane vana vaone chikafu, kuendesa vana kuchikoro. Tinototamba maraundi pawiki ema20 wese. Saka plastiki iri kutibatsira zvisingaiti. Zvokuti kana ikatozonzi yabhanwa plastiki tichatozomerwa noupenyu nokuti ndo pari kubva chikafu chevana, ndo pari kubvawo maschool fees. Zvokuti zvakawanda zvatichida kuita tikuzviita through maplastic. Saka akabhanwa tinenge takuti vana vanenge vakutofa nenzara.
When we look at Zimbabwe at the current moment, there is a ban, a plastic ban, but the plastic ban is only placing the prohibition of the manufacturing, the usage, and the sale of thin plastics of less than 30 micrometers. And looking at the policing of that enforcement, or rather that legislature, you realize that what we are basically facing as an agency is that our borders are quite porous. So you find there's a lot of smuggling in of these thin plastics, and they go straight into the informal market, and in a way that actually makes enforcement a little bit difficult because everything is done clandestinely.
Unfortunately, as you may be aware, they still need for more biodegradable plastic manufacturers in the country, and government through its various financial institutions like the Reserve Bank and the Ministry of Finance should look into supporting those manufacturers that are actually coming up to replace the non-biodegradable plastics.
The first port of call would have been phasing out carrier bags or the paper bags that we love to use so much when we are doing shopping. And if we are to look at carrier bags just ordinarily, we'll be saying we can go for the eco bags, the material cloth, which can be used when we go for shopping.
There are quite a number of projects that can be done around waste to energy. Then the other concept that also needs to be actually looked at, which is the introduction of that circular economy, which is the recycling aspect, which is what we are doing as Zimbabwe Sunshine Group. The concept of putting a recovery mechanism or system within communities of collecting recyclable materials that would then be channeled to the recycling industries and reproduce other bottles or the new products that are generated from those recyclable materials. So I think that's one of the critical aspects that we can take lessons from, because it's an industry that is emerging and it's an industry that is growing, and it has got a lot of benefits. There are so many families that are actually getting income directly from the process of recycling.
Plastic bans have emerged as one of the regulatory tools to control the use and reduce the manufacturing of plastics. Other countries like Rwanda have total bans on manufacturing and importation of plastic, while we have a partial ban on single-use plastics. These measures achieve different results, but without enforcement and capacitating law enforcement agencies, it would be a futile exercise. Similarly, alternative solutions such as circulating and redesigning of packaging products, is key. The socio-economic challenges that will result from the ban mean that small-scale enterprises must also be supported by different actors such as the private sector.